time.
Okay.
My name's Anthony. Welcome to DroneVideoDenver. I'm here with your host, Daniel Lowe.
Hey, Anthony, how you doing? Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Great. I'm happy to be your moderator here, Daniel. And what we're going to do next is go live to your Facebook channel.
Okay. Sure. Just tell me what I need to do.
Okay. I'm going to handle it on my end and share my screen so that people watching at home can see how I'm doing this. So I'm here in Zoom. We chose Zoom because StremYard wouldn't let us have as good of a screen sharing experience. And so we decided the best way to demonstrate both Zoom and StremYard was to somehow use them together. And this is the best way we found. So Zoom actually lets me pick a page that I manage to go live to. And as soon as I do this, I'm going to switch it back to the view of just Daniel and me. And he's going to introduce the program. So here we are, choosing the page that we want to go live to, preparing the live stream preview. And we're going to go into live producer, or should we just go live from here?
It's up to you. I don't know what live producer exactly means.
All right, so let's title it. And let's go for it. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Gonna wait for confirmation. We can always trim this off on the back end. Looks like we're live, Daniel.
Okay. I am getting a notification on my phone. So let me, real quick, I'm sorry, let me share this. I'm going to make sure that everybody can get to our broadcast real quick. So if you'll just give me a second, I'm going to send that out using my phone.
Sure. Actually, well, I'll give everyone a quick summary then until you get confirmation on that. Daniel and I have been working in the videography and online video advertising space. Daniel's focusing more on the high quality, high value production, and I've been focusing on the back end of the distribution and the placement of the videos. And we decided this is a great time to model after businesses that we look up to and offer some free coaching and consulting around Zoom and StremYard. What are they capable of? How can you use them? And, you know, what can you look forward to in the future for all the different business activities that have now been forced to go virtual? So if you're ready, Daniel, I'll let you take it away.
Okay, let me go to the page, my own page, the original notification that we had, and make sure people can get from there to here.
Okay.
And then I'll go into.
So as you can probably tell, Daniel and I have two different video cameras set up. And Daniel, for the people who are watching, what is your Facebook channel? How can they find your Facebook page?
Right. So I do all kinds of video production, have for about 10 years. The current incarnation of my business is called DroneVideoDenver. I've been doing real estate videos and making videos for commercial real estate, fashion, really anybody who needs a video in Denver. Been doing that for a while now. I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Yeah, the cameras that we're using. How come yours looks so much better than mine?
Okay, so for everybody else watching, Anthony is he is on a laptop with a webcam.
Yep. Let me show everybody my webcam. It looks like this.
Okay.
So you're like, how can he be showing me the webcam that he's using? I have two of them, actually. I borrowed this one from a friend and decided I liked it so much I had to get one myself. So there you go. It's the Microsoft HD webcam.
Okay. All right. I attacked this from a different angle than most people. I already had a nice computer and then several nice cameras. So I do professional video, and I have 2 or 3 cameras that can produce really good images that I can pair with professional optics, really good lenses.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem I had to solve is you can't plug these cameras directly into a computer. You have to have a what's called a video capture device in the middle that takes the HDMI out from the camera and translates that. You can actually hold up the piece of hardware that's doing this. So
yeah.
The HDMI out is the silver cord. Okay. And then the black cord is an USB cable that goes into the computer. It's about the size of a hockey puck. Mm. And that just makes a translation from the HDMI video of the camera, and it convinces the computer that that's your webcam or your built-in camera for the device.
Nice.
The computer is one device.
So if somebody wants to step it up from the webcam to a nice DSLR camera like this, what is the cost of that translator device?
There are a couple different that you can go with, but the only one that I felt confident with recommending, and just to be clear, any of these products that we talk about, this is something Anthony and I want to get out right now. We're not making any commissions. We're just recommending these products because we think it might be a good fit for you. So, but that device is called the Elgato. The box here. The Elgato. It's actually intended for gaming capture.
Oh.
I missed
okay.
This box, I'm sorry. It's
the cat.
Yes, it's just like it's up here.
Okay. Yeah, I know you had it a minute ago. I was asking you for it. And you...
60S. That's
okay.
That's called. So it'll do 4K at 60 frames a second. That's why it's called the HD 60S.
Okay.
There were some other Blackmagic makes some items like that as well that didn't have good reviews. This particular device that I bought was $170. It's actually more economical to buy what you have, a webcam, which is more like, I'm guessing, under 50 or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's like if I was a teacher and I didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on this, I would take the route that you've taken.
Yeah.
But if I was getting married or something, and this is something we're going to get to in the broadcast as well.
Yeah, the different ways to use these live streams. Great. Well, I think it's great that we can compare and contrast these different styles and different ways that this technology can be used. And that the two main things that we'll be comparing and contrasting this evening will be Zoom and StremYard. Now, I made a poll because I thought, it would be a really good idea to ask people who are watching, how many Zooms have they done this week? And then I could report the findings at the end of the broadcast. I don't know if you can see that, Daniel.
I can see the poll.
You can? Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it popped right up for me. So I think
I've
great.
Done
3. I think I've done 3, but I might have done 4. I'm going to do 1 to 3.
I mean, there has been probably a world record in Zoom calls in the last week, wouldn't you think?
Right. Zoom was before 2 weeks ago, and now it's almost redundant. Most people have used either Zoom or Skype, some
Mhm.
variant of one of those two flavors for work
Google
already.
has Hangouts, which is also very similar.
Right, right. I'd forgotten because they did away with Google Plus. So
Yeah, I actually said Google so many times that my phone popped up and said, "What do you want?" Does that ever happen to you?
um, I'm paranoid enough to have all that disabled. So
Okay, that's good.
I'll go get my
So
full hat when this is done.
yeah, so I'm assuming that a lot of people watching this webinar are familiar with Zoom because they've probably attended a Zoom call and or they've conducted one. And when you look at a Zoom call compared to StremYard, which is the other tool that we're going to demonstrate, you can see from using Zoom here that it does the job. It does the job of conducting a virtual meeting for you and I. But if I wanted to do anything else, like show a slide or put in a lower third or run an overlay video to introduce this broadcast and then to summarize it at the end, I would have to share my screen and it would start to get
You
a
have a lot of
little
latency. Yeah.
difficult to pull off. So that's where I think StremYard comes in. And Daniel and I tried this earlier, and um, well, we're going to have Daniel jump off the
Right.
Zoom call, and then I'm going to share my screen and take us all over to the StremYard broadcast studio so that we can show you behind the scenes how StremYard is different, what it can do, and then we'll look at the applications. And Daniel's prepared some educational information on what's possible now with high definition live broadcasting for all kinds of life events and for all kinds of life adjustments that we're going through. So I'm going to share my screen right now, Daniel, and you can hang in there as long as you'd like.
Okay.
I guess I'm over here on my Facebook, but what I want to do is go over here to StremYard. And you know what you might try to do, Daniel, is stop your video camera on
Okay.
Zoom. Maybe turn off your video camera. See if you can keep
Video.
the audio going
Okay.
and toggle over here. So I'm going to create a new broadcast. Yeah, I'm going to skip this. Actually, let's see if I can do it to my YouTube channel. I haven't created the link yet, so I'm still going to have to send this over to you. Zoom versus StremYard.
So let me explain a little bit while you're doing this. This StreamYard has an interface that will allow you to broadcast to two of these at once. So you could broadcast to two Facebook pages,
Right,
or a YouTube and a Facebook.
right.
And so that's some of the extra value add that you can get that you would be difficult to do during Zoom, right?
Hmm.
I actually did not know Zoom would allow you to broadcast to Facebook. So that's something I learned just today.
Yeah, in the webinar function, it is possible.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and create this
Is that a paid
broadcast.
function of Zoom, or is that built in with the free?
It's not built in with the free. That's the next step up.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so here's like the waiting room of this. And I still don't have an invitation link, so I have to go inside the broadcast studio before I can send that out. But the broadcast studio is not going to launch us live. I do like to show this because I want to show anyone I invite to StremYard how to properly use this. Obviously, you want to make sure that the mic is working. And you can go to the cam mic function right here. And if we were in the audio, you can choose these different audio sources and you can test their readings. Well, webcam is actually very close to my mouth, but the thing that's closest to my mouth is this headset.
Right.
And so it should be recording the best audio. The rule of thumb in audio is closer to the noise source, the better, no matter how much you spent on the microphone. Speaker, same thing. And this is interesting, audio processing. So this prevents that reverberation. I don't hear my own voice coming out of the speaker because it disables the processing. Daniel can hear my volume and my audio, but it doesn't reverb the recording back to me. So over here in the camera, same thing. I can choose between FaceTime camera or the built-in iPhone camera, a little bit different. You can see the difference there. And then my Microsoft webcam. And you can choose between resolutions here, and I've got the highest one selected. Okay, so that's the basic summary of how to get the best picture and audio from StremYard. It's in this waiting room. You want to put your display name in there, and then you enter the broadcast studio. So now I'm going to go ahead and invite Daniel to join us. And I just happen to have his messenger up.
Yeah.
There he is. He sent me a photo of his setup. So you just got a sneak peek of what it looks like behind the scenes in Daniel's production studio. But now that I sent that to him, you should see him show up here in this this studio. Okay, this is the lineup. This is my camera angles, and and there he is. So I'm going to put him right up on screen. And he's going to have to mute something because I can hear my voice now.
Is that better?
That is better. I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, you never.
Okay. Okay, great. So here's what's so great about StremYard. And it's actually very similar to Zoom, but I've got more control of the screen and what's broadcast out. So I can toggle between Daniel or myself, and I can put us into a mix. And I can have up to 6 people on this call. So all of a sudden, I've got a lot more control over who's speaking, who's coming up next, and it's independent of who's talking. I've got the control.
Just I don't mean to interrupt you. Your audio changed a little bit there. I'm not sure why. You had some feedback and then it went away.
Okay, that's probably due to the processing catching up to our broadcast. So now we're in this picture window. Well, I had to ask Daniel to create a slide deck so that he can share his screen. Now this would mimic a remote broadcast production. So I could be completely behind the scenes, or I could be the host. I could introduce Daniel as my international guest, and Daniel could present his slides by having 2 screens up. And so he's going to share the screen, and then the screen he shares is going to be his presentation.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So I need to go into StremYard.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring my presentation up first.
Were you checking Zoom there? Were you still connected on Zoom?
Was Zoom kind of took over my screen.
Ah.
So get everything sized up just right before I start sharing.
Yeah. So we had actually intended this to blow your mind. And
we actually did a lot of homework and organization, believe it or not. But this is what live is like. You get on here and you start talking. So
yeah.
Go ahead, Anthony. I didn't mean to interrupt you again.
No. I'm going to move our faces over into the corner here, and then I'm going to go through these additional features that just don't come in a Zoom broadcast that really help to differentiate the difference between StremYard and Zoom. So I've I like using the Sporting Denver files because I've got a lot of them, and it's similar to a lot of businesses that just want to present their own research and development. So you might have the show host, Richie English, and then the guest, Tom Byer.
And clear for everybody else, this is this is an indoor soccer team that you
it's just a news and information soccer resource in Denver. Okay. Our tagline is for a more connected soccer community.
And you guys do streaming broadcasts sometimes, or is it you like recorded in YouTube?
We do live broadcasts. Mm-hmm. So here's an example of a ticker. There's a stay-at-home challenge going around right now. And we'd like to encourage our viewers to submit their videos of their stay-at-home challenge. So these are called banners. And you can use this kind of banner. And when I switch down here to brand, I can change the banner from minimal to default. You can see that it gets a little bigger. And I'll just show you what it's like to create a banner. And then I can toggle over to that one. And then if I want to edit that one, I just turn it off and then edit it. And let's say I want to make it a ticker, and it goes across the bottom now. And I just click that box. And now everybody knows how smelly your feet are.
Thank you. Some of the things that we talked about before, we discussed maybe doing this in OBS Studio. What it seems like to me is that StremYard has the dialogue. OBS is really a single user program. You could stream gaming or something, but it's really one person. It would be difficult to have a dialogue like this. Mm-hmm. StremYard seems to have a lot of those features that OBS has, but it's compatible with Zoom. It understands all the social stuff. And then plus it has all these title, ticker, etc. Features that you'd like to have in real time. It's kind of like a video DJ kind of functionality. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
So let me go back up to the top because this is really neat. Oh, and I haven't gone live here yet. So let me go live to YouTube. And this should be so interesting. We're testing out the difference between StremYard and Zoom, and we're actually live streaming to do different places at the same time. We just started live on my YouTube channel, but for the past 20 minutes, we've been broadcasting live on Zoom to Daniel's Facebook page. And we're starting to show some of the features here behind the scenes in the StremYard broadcast studio. And I'm about to send out a message to my YouTube live stream. Hi. Go ahead and ask us anything. Now, that will go out to my YouTube live stream. Now, if I had this going out to your Facebook page, you would see that same comment here with that on it. So
Facebook symbol.
Yeah. So this is great because now it's interactive, and instead of having to open up Facebook and YouTube at the same time to respond to comments, it's just right here next to the broadcast that I'm conducting. So let's keep going. We went through banners, and now we're going to go into the brand. So if you've got your color skew number, you can type it in here. You can change the brand color, which will then change the lower thirds or these title card banners. You can add a logo in the corner with a transparent PNG. Of course, if you don't use a transparent PNG, this looks like that. But yeah, StremYard has their own, and That's kind of default with their brand, but you can see that it's a nice little feature to have up there in the corner. Now, they've also given us what's called an overlay, and these are very unique to StremYard because not only can I overlay an image, but I can play a video clip. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Let's see how it comes across. All right.
Just a little bit loud, but yeah, that worked.
Yeah, it was a little bit loud. And I'm working on that. But thanks for letting me show that. It's kind of a great way to create an introduction and an outro for your show, is to have a quick little 30-second video clip like that.
I like the concept of that myself a lot as a video creator. There's, it would be cool to be able to talk about some of my material live with an audience and then show something.
Right. I thought we might touch on Sling Studio real quick, because that's also a method for going live in a broadcast. Actually, that's the first proving ground, the crucible that I went through in learning how to do a lot of live broadcasting. And it starts with this sort of a setup right here.
Wait a minute, is Sling, okay, so Sling Studio is both hardware and software, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So in this setup, you see here on eBay, it's listed for $21.79, and it comes with the hub, comes with one transmitter and one robo-operated camera. So you could set up a webcam like this one on your computer and have that robo camera somewhere else, maybe closer to the stage. And you could control it with zoom or pan or tilt.
You wouldn't use this at home though, because that would just
that would be overkill.
For
right.
What you would use this for, sports or for church or for both?
Yeah, probably both of those. Maybe a wedding too, or
when you
or
say
something.
RoboCam, does it follow a target on its own, or?
I'm not sure if this one does that.
I didn't know if I'd seen some examples of the PTZ Optics products last night. I actually sent you some of those in the email. I saw a few purchasers were using the PTZ Optics. There's a 20 times zoom camera, and there's one that's 1700 and one that's, all in that price range, 17 to 2200. I didn't know if they required an operator or if they could be programmed to, detect faces, or how that works. So that was a little bit curious if you'd had hands-on experience.
No, not with this type of a setup. I have used a RoboCam before, but not with the Sling Studio. This is what it looks like here. You can see the Sling Studio hub on the right, and then these two cameras that have transmitters that send it to that hub and then into the broadcast studio. So these are the different options that Sling is saying you can use with their live broadcast production equipment and software. You can use small cameras that have the app, the Sling Studio app inside of them. And this one's a Mevo, and this one's your smartphone, actually. You can just download an app, and it'll send your signal via Wi-Fi to the hub, which then shows up as a camera angle, very similar to these down here, that you can use in your broadcast. Now, this is the one Daniel has set up here, and it's using, the Sling Studio transmitter. So his HDMI would go into this instead of that other thing that you were talking about earlier. And then, of course, it also works with a camcorder.
Oh, can you tell me why we would want to use Sling versus, StremYard or what that exactly means.
Yeah, good question. I'm sure a lot of our viewers have that same question too. Sling's really meant for a much larger production, like a mega church or a professional athletics event.
Okay.
However, it is a game changer. It did reduce the cost of live streaming by 10 times because it's now wireless, and the technology is just a lot less expensive than it was before. So that's a quick overview of the Sling Studio as well.
Let me ask one more question about that. If we had, say, a wedding and we didn't want to be tied down to HDMI cables, would that make sense, or is that still too bulky and prohibitive?
No, I think it's great for a wedding where you've got two videographers both using their high quality cameras so that all of the footage is captured. You know, capturing this footage is important, and that's done right over here in the SD card. It's
Okay.
also being sent to live broadcasts so that people from all over the world can join the ceremony, but yet the groom and the bride can still have their high quality images for recreation later. And I don't think StremYard necessarily would be a great option for a wedding, but you certainly could make it work.
Okay.
So private chat is a function this also has. Hey, checking online. And then that just goes to Daniel and it sends him a little notification over there to do that. The other thing I wanted to show was that we do have display names that you can turn on and off down here at the bottom. So that may or may not be relevant to you, especially if you have multiple people on the broadcast.
Sure.
And then a background, which I like to demonstrate because it can help people understand how this whole thing comes together. Let's see, if I was to go to this view, then you could see the background of Sporting Denver. But if I went to this view, then it would just be a photo of Denver. And then if I took us off the broadcast studio, as in we were waiting for our show to go live, then it would look like this.
Okay.
And let's see. Here it is. This would be strolling across the bottom. And of course, we're not this baby blue at Sporting Denver. It's not our color. We like to be gritty, black. But I digress. If we were to broadcast live and then say, hey, we'll be coming on time in the next 5 minutes, then people would start to tune in and to start to get ready for us to come on right on time.
In theory, yeah.
Yeah, in theory. So now we're back in the broadcast, and we'd love to take questions, but it just doesn't look like we've got any viewers so far. So unfortunately, most of the people will be watching this on replay.
The number up in the corner for you, is that YouTube or is that?
Yeah, this is all YouTube.
Okay.
Let's see if we can go back into
I think we have
Zoom now.
We may have two viewers on Facebook, but
Okay.
maybe I may be the one viewer on Facebook.
All right.
Not sure how that works.
Right. Well,
start my video again now, right?
yeah. Let's see. Let's see if you can. Can you?
StremYard. I have to. Okay. I am still on StremYard.
Okay. Well, why don't I just go back over there? Because I wanted you to show your slides earlier. Have you been able to make that happen? Should be
I can bring up. I can bring up the slides if we want to look at them.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to show the viewers how this looks because I do have a few more arrangements
Okay.
if you share your screen.
So I should go into StremYard and share my screen.
Well, go into the broadcast studio and then you'll have a screen share button at the bottom. It looks like you jumped out of StremYard.
Close the browser window for StremYard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. You've still got your audio, which has been great, Daniel. I'm really glad we set it up this way. It looks like it's broadcasting really nicely with your audio while you're on Zoom.
Okay, I can rejoin the StremYard though.
Yes, you can. Let me see what else I can show. Oh, this is what it looks like when you invite somebody. I think I already showed that. Oh, looks, there you are. Hey, welcome back to the show. So,
all right,
Daniel's,
so now I go
he's
to
doing this. Right. And you can do that or that.
application window.
I'm going to mute you from the StremYard broadcast. So
Okay.
I still have you coming in from Zoom.
There we go. So that should be sharing now.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to add that. And now you can see we've got these different broadcast arrays. We can make the slides big or we can make them small. I can put Daniel as the main speaker. I can remove myself so that Daniel's there, and then he can be doing this. Now you can advance the slides too, I assume.
Yeah.
Great. Good. Well, why don't you go into this? I know you prepared these. So
yeah, we'll use them. I feel a little bit like Captain Obvious, having written all this down. There's obviously a great deal of uncertainty right now. In general, people are having to stay at home, and that's probably why we're all here at this broadcast. You are probably the only person that I know that's gotten busier during this time because of this emerging need. So something I was going to bring up was this is probably not going to end all of a sudden. It'll probably be a slow end. The governor and different people have spoken about that. We may slowly go back to group gatherings. And even if we go back to group gatherings, there may be individuals who are very cautious about traveling. And so that was actually one of the ideas I had. If you have people who have to stay at home, if you have people who don't want to travel, and you still want to get married, you have sporting events, you have grandkids, you have birthdays. You and I briefly touched on it. You may have funerals during this time. Hopefully not, but it's possible. And then when we are able to have some small gatherings, again, which we can't currently do, but when we were able to have small gatherings, you could do weddings and you could do sporting events. One thing I forgot to bring up before we got on the call today, I believe the NBA is looking at playing the basketball game horse, taking different shots from different places and having a small crew there to film that with no people in the stadium. So this is something that even professional leagues are looking into doing.
That's great.
And one thing I should bring up real quick.
Love that idea.
Bring this up.
Yeah.
Anytime you do live streaming, you're hoping to have that broadcast recorded for archival viewing. In this case, we're relying on Facebook to do that. We'll see how that turns out. We had no problems with it the other day, so we have tested this. And then the other thing that we should bring up real fast, kind of the Captain Obvious again, if you don't have a fast internet connection, you're not going to be able to do live video streaming. It's just not going to happen.
That's true.
So if you go out in the wilderness with your cell phone and try to do live streaming, it's probably not going to work. But just to bring up the obvious, if you're a church, if you're sporting event, wedding, whatever it is, we're going to have fast internet to do any kind of live video. If you don't have fast internet, then that's where I come in, and you don't need Anthony so much. We can record the event and go back and show it to people later.
Yeah.
We've already talked a lot about the how-to, the nuts and bolts of it. Cell phone, laptop. Anthony's on a laptop right now with a external web camera and an external microphone.
Mhm.
I am on the third setup here, a computer camera with a capture device. You've never used the PTZ optics yourself?
No.
Okay, neither have I. I've never seen one. I saw it on YouTube literally last night. I wanted to just
Mm.
bring it up that it exists, but
Mhm.
neither one of us can vouch for quality or usability or any of those things.
Mhm.
Um, we've kind of already discussed this a little bit, but just for my sister's a teacher, and
Mhm.
I think people who are not technologically inclined, a laptop is probably going to be fine for you. If you're an educator and you want to make one upgrade, if you have a gift certificate or something like that, buy a microphone. The microphone is probably the most useful upgrade you can make if you're going to be on a laptop. Webcams obviously probably would be a logical other upgrade, but the microphone, good sound is actually something we discussed in the film industry. Good sound is more important than good video if you have to make a choice. And adding a microphone is just not that expensive. You can get one for 20 to 40 bucks. You can spend a lot more on a microphone, but you don't need to.
Mhm.
Some of this other stuff, what does your background say about you? Video lights, there's a concept in the film industry that we talk about, which is a key light, and that is a light that's hitting your face. You want the key light to be the strongest light, whatever the light that's hitting your face, to be stronger than the lights behind you.
Mm.
And then obviously test your setup before you go live or whatever it is that you're doing. Just take a look and see what kind of results you're getting out of your setup before you decide to run with it.
Mhm.
I think we've already touched on most of this here.
Cool.
PTZ optic.
Well, I thought this was pretty extensive and thorough and quick as well.
Let me figure out how to stop sharing my screen now.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing my StremYard and we'll go back to Zoom.
Okay.
And maybe we can finish it up over here on Zoom, and you can tell people if there's any offers that you have, Daniel. I know that you and I started this broadcast because we were looking at some of the businesses we admire and seeing how they were offering goodwill and extending, these goodwill offers to just be a stronger community. And so I wanted you to let people know what it is they could get from you if they had the need.
Well, to be honest, I didn't know you were going to ask this question. Especially if you're an educator, if you work in the medical field, if you need help with something, you can just contact me directly. I'll put my email in in the comments.
Okay.
I guess we should clarify kind of our I don't know, our roles or what you're looking at. If there's
Yeah.
anything else if there's something else I can do in terms of video for the community, feel free to contact me as well, especially something related to the current crisis, but it doesn't have to be directly related. Video has a ton of use cases, and one of those is preserving family memories.
Mm.
So that's something that may be relevant during this time is, you may have a relative that you want to get on video that you may not be able to, or you're having technical difficulties getting something set up. So to be honest, at this time, you're really busy. I'm not quite as busy. If somebody wants to reach out, I'll do my best to help them, or at least point them in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's a great goodwill offer. And if somebody's asking for help, it's great that they've got a place to ask and a place that can do their best to help them out. And I'm offering the exact same thing. If you feel like there's anything I can help you with for a 45-minute period of time, I'd be happy to set that appointment and walk you through it on a screen share like this. Show me what's causing you troubles, and I'd be happy to see what I can do to help. It's the least I can do in these interesting times.
To be clear with the audience, you've done both worship services streaming and sports streaming previously, right?
Yep. Most of what I've been doing in the last 2 weeks, Daniel, is this remote event production. I mean, all events have pretty much died or gone away, and it's only organizations that have been able to utilize this technology that have been able to go on with their mission.
But you've been doing streaming with your church for some time, is that correct?
Yeah. I guess since my church started streaming 6 years ago, I was on their production crew, and we're talking about Mile High Church over off of Alameda and Garrison, and they have a fully built out professional broadcast studio, and I was running the camera. But there was lots of different duties there, you know, robo cameras and different live stream technology. But it's just recently that this technology has been more accessible to any small business, really.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just end it by saying thanks, Daniel, for being so open and willing to dive right in the deep end. And, you know, we were kind of like seeing if we could break the tools that we were using, which is always the best way, I think, to learn how to use them.
Right. This is almost like the test itself, this broadcast. We'll just see what kind of response we're going to get, and to see if we can drive the car off the cliff. So
yeah, building some wings on the way down.
Thank you so much for being here, Anthony. I've got to learn how to listen a little bit better and wait for you to finish talking. So I'm sorry I keep trying to stick my questions in.
No, sometimes I'm guilty of the same thing. I'll just keep talking, and everybody's like, "Hello, it's my turn to talk now."
Okay. Well, I don't think we have any questions, or we may not have any viewers, but we're going to wrap it up either way. So
yeah, cool.
Thanks again for being here tonight, Anthony.
Yeah, have a great rest of the night, and I'll see you next week.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.